This computer. Hello, Evgeny. How are you?
Hey, Eran, shalom, shalom. How are you doing?
Oh, fine, good. Well, this time we're going to do that in English, although I know that you are bilingual, so you can do that both in Hebrew and in English. But for the sake of our broader audience, we'll stick with the English language. So, welcome to my podcast. It's so great to have you as part of this great platform. We know each other for quite some time. I've been following you for the past probably, I don't know, 8 years or so. You have an amazing background, full of surprises and a lot of insights into the cyberspace mainly, but not just because there's a lot of twists and turns in your journey. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How's your journey look like?
Sounds
Your
good.
stage is all yours.
Thank you. Very, very happy to be here. I think you're doing something nice. And I think it's very nice that you're doing this in Hebrew and in English as well. So going to be a different opportunity and different stage for different people. So this is awesome. So I moved to Israel when I was 11 from Kyiv, Ukraine. It actually used to be USSR before I left. So I'm from the country that doesn't exist anymore. But I spent majority of my life in Israel. I did my state service in Israel. I did 5 years in the Navy. I learned electronics computers. Before that, in the Navy, I really like the idea of networking, Linux, OSs, and I went to learn more about Windows. I did the trainings there. And when I'm done with my Navy service, I joined Check Point. This is where I actually began my cybersecurity training and my cybersecurity learning as well, not just network and computers. I really like the security and cybersecurity aspect. I was always a mini geek, so technology always attracted me. And a lot of people start in IT. A lot of people start somewhere else. I started in a way to do debugging in a firewall kernel. But it was very strange later on when I understood that a lot of other people never even done this because they didn't came from this direction. So 2 years later, when I moved to Canada, I realized I have like a slice of cybersecurity knowledge that not a lot of people have. But on the other side, I'm missing the IT part, ticketing, and a lot of other things that people did that I didn't do. So it was very, very interesting to kind of bridge the gap from my knowledge to other people's knowledge to actually work and help real customers, not in the lab, because I was doing QA in Check Point, to help them upgrade firewalls, to help them architect and design their environments. And I still remember the learning curve. It was pretty much, we went to a customer with my manager, and he's like, hey, you understand what's going on? Yes. We'll do an upgrade together. What do you mean it's okay? That's it. You're done. Next time you're doing it by yourself. He's like, but it was just 2 days of training. He's like, yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. So when you work for a VAR, when you work for a value-added reseller, it's all very, very fast-paced. You have to actually learn on the job.
Right.
And in a way, when you learn on a job, this is the fastest way to learn because you have no choice. You have to fix a problem. You need to understand how something is working. And there is no months or days or weeks to understand this. There's no theory. Customer need an upgrade, customer need a change, customer need a design. And it's your way to understand this. So as we say in English, like dog years, I've been
Absolutely.
with Herjavec groups that later on become Sideris for 15 and a half years. But I did so much during this time and I learned so much in technology, customers, change management, operational risk, compliance as well later on. It was mind-blowing. When I left Herjavec last year, I was running the architecture division at Herjavec Group and was helping many customers on a pre-sale side, on consulting side. So I had a very, very big basket of knowledge with me that I took. And I decided to go and help MSSPs and vendor to become better and doing advisory. As part of being in Herjavec Group, I spent quite a lot of time with vendors, with building partnership, with building relationship. Also later on, building the same with the customers, because you need to take a vendor, understand which vendor you want to work with, understand the capabilities, and then make sure that the customer will also be happy with what you're positioning, because the customer want to trust you. And if they trust you, then they're going to give you more business. Then you create a rapport, you create a relationship, and they want to buy more from you. Almost like a car salesman. You sell one car, and they come back 4 years later, then the kids come back, then their family come back.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, 15 years in Arjafek. This is one of the an amazing companies that I know of out of Canada, right? Which develop an amazing set of solutions based on a huge set of vendors across the cybersecurity space, and did very well both in Canada and North America and overall. So in my podcast, we really talk about partnerships. This is the essence of this platform, to kind of give our audience an idea of what this partnership is all about. And I think talking to you, because you've been on the partner side of the house most of the years, you have a very interesting insight into what is partnership all about, because everybody takes it to a different direction, right? And partnership means different things to different people, depends on the function within their company. So what is partnership for you, Evgeny?
Ooh, partnership is a trust, but it's not like trust and verify. It's a trust with the idea. Think about like a campfire. To start a campfire, you need to have an effort. So you need to do something, chop the wood, make sure it's dry, make sure there's a place for it. So you put an effort in the beginning to make the fire going. But if you're not going to keep adding food, the fire will die. And it's very similar to a partnership. It's take time to start, but if you're going to just leave it by itself, it will die.
Yeah.
You have to consistently understand where it is, what are you doing for the other partner, or what's it doing for you, but also understand what's happening. And in some cases, if we take the fire and say, oh, I want to use the fire to be bigger because I want to have more warmth, more light, then you need to put more wood, more effort to make it bigger. And the bigger it is, the more value it creates. So this is for me partnership, without going to small details, because I think we're going to go later on.
My question is from the partner perspective, what it takes to make a great partnership, and what vendors do mostly wrong that partnerships are actually failing?
Let's go to the wrong parts first.
Okay.
The wrong part first is you agree on certain things with the vendor, for example. If we're talking from the VAR or MSSP perspective, it could be a discount, it could be license code, it could be something else. When something happened with the vendor side, they change their mind. So let's say a year after, they give you a good price, and then a year after they change the price. Even so, you maybe did everything you asked them to do, or they ask you to do. It could be somebody left from the vendor side that you created a partnership with them, and nobody knows about what you signed. Everything is lost, because you didn't make sure everybody else knows this. There's a lot of small things where it can fail. It can even fail to the point when a vendor signs something with you as an MSSP or as a VAR, but then they found a very big customer. You're like, hey, vendor, what do you mean you're going direct? This is supposed to be me. He's like, yeah, but this customer is too big. I'm going to go direct with this one. He's like, wait a second. But we agree that everything we're doing through me. Just to people that don't understand what I'm talking about, in majority of the cases, when a vendor in cybersecurity space sign a partnership agreement, or in majority of the cases, they don't sell direct to the end user. They're using an MSSP or a value-added reseller to make the business. No, it's not the case all the time. A lot of times it's done direct. But when you sign a partnership agreement, in majority of the cases, the idea is that you have a benefit while you're working with them.
Right.
And if the vendor going can sell direct, then what just happened? But it's not what we agree on. If you agree on this in the beginning that they may do some deals direct, it's up to you. So you have like a crack in the agreement right now. You have a crack in the base, and you don't know what's going to happen in the future. This is some of the examples why it may fail. Why it can succeed and go well is you constantly have things and understanding with the vendor, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, where you are, what are you doing, and if you're still doing what the vendor and you agree on. Because on the other side, if the vendor sign you as a partner and you agree that you're going to sell their solution, for example, or manage their solution, but you're not really doing a lot, so what the incentive for the vendor to work with you? It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. It's interesting. It's interesting that, there's, in many of the cases, there's almost one mistake that you do as a vendor to jeopardize your relationship with a partner.
Yes.
In my mind, as you mentioned, it's a two-way street. And the effort and alignment that needs to be put into that partnership is pretty much falls on both parties. What can actually the partner can do in order to make that kind of partnership a success from your perspective? What have you done on the product technology side that actually influenced and created a greater partnership environment for that to succeed?
It's a very good question. Thank you. Because I just kind of, when you were asking this, I was thinking about the good vendors I work with. And in some cases, the vendor will actually do everything needed, but the partner, the MSSP or the VAR, will be too busy. The vendor will say, I'll bring my sales people, I'll bring my engineers, we'll create a with tissue, we'll come for free to do certification for you. But the VAR will be too busy with whatever it is. So this has happened and not always work. But I think definitely the vendor need to keep the relationship. They need to bug the VAR. They need to understand what the VAR need. So if the VAR or MSSP doesn't want to have a sales meeting with them, why? Is this mean that they don't want to sell you? Potentially, and it's not a good partnership. Or they're busy with something else? Or you're not creating them what you need? So let's think about this. In the end of the day, we all agree that we want to have a better world. We will have a more secure world. But if we go on a bit lower, at the end of the day, people creating companies to make money. People creating MSSPs to create money. It's a way of life as well. I personally hope that we help people. We're not just there for the money, but it's just me. And I want to do work that I hope helping people as well, not just for the check mark. But in the end of the day, MSSPs and VARs are there to also create, it's a business. So if I want to sign a partnership with you, because I think you have a good technology, I need to understand now the business part. So as a vendor, you need to come to a VAR, to MSSP, to a reseller, not just, hey, look how cool is my technology, but also the business part. And this is the part that I think you and me spoke about this before, that the vendors not always understand. As a cool as a sexy technology, you need to help the VAR and the MSSP to sell it. It's your responsibility to make it easy, to make it understandable to a VAR. When I was with Charger Group, I always told the vendor, hey, give me like 3 sentences. When I hear them on a phone with the customer, it means your technology. Help me there. Give me the white papers. Explain to me what the margin can be. And it was funny in some cases because the bigger the customer, the bigger the margin you expect. If you go to a bank, you're probably looking for like a multi-million-dollar deals. And when you jump on a call with the vendor, and the vendor told you how great they are, and 40 minutes into the call, they told you the average deal is 50K, you're like, wait a second. You want me to go and spend months with the bank, because it takes months to close a deal with the bank for a 50K deal? your technology may be the greatest one, but for me as a MSSP, my time is not worth it. It's just not the correct market fit. It could be a good technology for mid-enterprise SMB customer, but not for the large enterprise. So this part, the vendor need to explain, understand what are the margins, what is the average deal, how to make the deal work better for you, what do you need to hear? Do you want my engineers on a call with you, for example, to help you? A lot of the bigger vendors say, oh, we're going to teach you how to sell our technology because you have VAR and go away. Is this really what the VAR wants? Maybe. It's really depend on the size of the vendor, what they're trying to do. There's a lot of maybes there how to approach, but in the end of the day, I think the most important part is the vendor want to have a successful relationship with the VAR. They need to chew everything for the VAR. Absolutely. And give them on a plate what they need, not just technologically wise, business wise as well.
I think you're right on the point. Having a thought process through how my partner program should look like and what I bring to the table in every kind of moment of building that type of relationship is important. To understand the perspective that the partner actually look at the market, look at the vendor, and how that comes together to a value proposition, a win-win situation for everybody that involved in that specific deal. So that's very important. Changing gears a little bit, because I want to, and we will continue that thought process, because you are working with a lot of startups. Talking to CEOs, VP of R&Ds, other business managers, again, startups, and I mean startups here in Israel, that always looking to capture customers overseas, mainly in the US, because that's their target market. So what do you tell those startups? Can they start working with partners? When they can start working with partners? How mature they should be in order to understand that there's a partner in between them and the end customer? What's your take on that?
In the beginning, as a basic part, there needs to be someone that is responsible on this partnership. So the vendor need to hire a partner manager, a partner person. They're going to be responsible working on this. They need to have a partner program. The program will explain why they should work with them, what kind of discounts the VAR will get. Is there as a way to actually go and do deal registration? It's a different term that maybe people don't understand, but as a VAR, I expect that if I have a deal and I went to you as a vendor and put my name there, that tomorrow if somebody else come, you're not going to give them the deal because the deal is already registered to my name. So as a VAR, it's very important to protect my time and effort because the sales cycle is big. So there's Absolutely. A lot of time goes into there. So the vendor need to create this partner program. This vendor need to create this deal registration program in the website. The vendor will need to have some kind of a material. Maybe there is going to be certification for the technology part. Is it going to be a course inside? How do I know that you're going to sell my technology? Because again, two-way street, and you could also able to deliver this. Or it could be only sale deal, and the work will be done by the customers themselves or by the vendor. So you want to kind of think ahead on all the steps of why to sell, what to sell, what kind of marketing material the VAR will need, how we'll do the POC together, how we'll attack the customer in a good way, attack the customer.
Absolutely.
So this is the main parts. If you're small enough, you may don't have all these things. It's maybe premature to go and work with a VAR and MSSP, but MSSP could be different because MSSP, you may say, MSSP, you can buy my technology and sell it as a managed service. So then it's become a bit different because in a way, the managed service now become the main customer and they just sell the services to the end user. Let's give a small example. Let's say I'm managing a lot of firewalls and I want to have backup of the firewalls. It's my problem as MSSP because I told the customer I will take care of you. If your firewall goes down, I'm going to rebuild it. If I don't have good backups, I'm going to have a problem for myself. And then I'm going to basically breach the SLA, the service level agreement with the customer on this. So I may buy a backup solution for the firewalls because I want to make sure I have everything I need.
What's
I may
what's the
buy.
what's the appetite of such MSSPs or MSPs or VARs for new technology, new partnerships like that?
It will depend by MSSP and VARs. If their VARs are technology oriented, probably more. If they're sales oriented, they're going to be more a bit reserved to understand how it's actually done. Back in the Horjovic day, we used to call it train, the train coming, the train is here, the train already left. So the new technology is that the train is still coming, but we don't really know if people are going to buy it. Like, let's say the SASE space, the Zscalers, Netscopes, Palos, 5 years ago, before COVID, like, oh, the train is somewhere there. It's kind of cool technology, but we don't know if people are going to buy this. Right now, the train is like all the way going so fast. Everybody is buying the SASE technology. Same with endpoint technology. The train left. Like everybody has an antivirus and an EDR, APP. You can still create a new company, but the market is saturated with such vendors, and everybody understands they must have an endpoint security. If they must have something else, some kind of a cloud security. So our next season in security architecture will be about Snap, about cloud security. This train is kind of here, but people still don't know what to do with it,
right?
For example. So it's going to be depend on MSSP and how technologically kind of hungry they are. They're also going to be depend on the size of MSSPs because everybody wants to work with Horjovics. Everybody wants to work with Cyderas, with Optives. But if you think about them, they have 400 vendors. So do you really want to work with them? Or do you want to work with a smaller MSSP that has 50 people, but they only have 5 or 10 different technologies? And this is especially important. When you go to a small MSSP, you need to explain why your technology is cool on a technical part and how to sell it. But they probably will only take you if really amazing technology. If you go to Horjovic, Cyderas, Optives, and the bigger guys, you will need to have the appetite of the sales team, not just the technology team. And you're going to put more money and weight on the sales because the sales people will need to know how to sell it and how much money they can make. Now, here's an interesting part. Because you can say, hey, Evgeniy, so basically saying, I don't care about the technology as the business part. No. If you gonna try to position a crappy technology, excuse my French, people will know this very, very fast. The moment the sales team doing the pitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, and the customer says, what is this? And it means you don't have a good technology to sell. So the assumption when you're going and put more money on the business side, that the technology is actually working.
It's interesting because we all know that the cyberspace is very condensed. There's a lot of companies that compete on the same space, same solution. You sometimes see more than just 5 companies. It can be 10 companies on the same segment. How you differentiate yourself within the partner? What kind of ingredients you need in order to go above that noise? And you mentioned that in Horjovic you had 400 different technology partner, which is massive.
So let's take a restaurant. Let's say you're going to, I like shawarma, I'm still an Israeli inside. So you can go to eat shawarma on a booth outside, and basically it's going to be no tables, but the food going to be amazing. Let's say it's similar to technology, it's amazing technology, but you just got a technology and you leave. Well, I can go and eat a full meal in a restaurant, sit down, have a coffee later on. There's going to be some snacks before the shawarma. Going to have nice atmosphere. Going to be nice music. The waiter will come all the time and ask if I need anything. And I'm going to have not just the food, but also the entire experience. So I'm going to come back not just for the food, but for experience as well. And maybe I'm not going to eat shawarma every time. Maybe later on, I'll see what else is on the menu. Because in the shawarma shack, it's only shawarma. I only know I'm coming there to eat shawarma and I don't care about anything else. It's a slice of experience. But in the restaurant, I'm going to connect to the restaurant. I'm going to like it. And I maybe try a salad, maybe try a steak, maybe try fish. So this is the same idea in my mind with a very good VARs. Just sell you the experience. VAR, value added reseller. The value here is a lot of time forget it. So I'm not going to just sell the technology, but I will understand that the technology you need. I'll spend time on the pre-sales, on the architecture. I will know that this technology will work in your environment. My people will go and do the professional services to deploy the solution. My project management will manage the project to make sure it's actually on the time and it's done and there is no problems, because we all know there's going to be problems and we need to solve the problems. Do we expect the vendor to solve the problems, the engineer to solve the problems, or the project management to raise the problem on time that the other people can solve it as well?
Yeah.
And have the sales team as well to make sure you're getting what you need. And if you have a good experience, you will come back to buy more.
It's almost that you can put it in 3 different buckets, and it's people, it's technology, and processes, right? So let's talk a little bit about people, okay? Because it's all about people. This is how we interact. This is the way we develop relationships. With VARs and MSPs and MSSPs, which are working for years and years with their customers, I know that they're like an anchor for their end customers. How important is the relationship making in those type of partnerships? And what happened if companies, and we see today that companies are letting go sales guys, partner management professionals, what happened to those relationships? How that will evolve if you do so, moving forward?
I think it's very important, and in some cases, even too important, that it's maybe damage the partnership. Because as you may say, if you and me working together, and I'm a MSSP and you are a vendor, and I work with you to create a partnership, what happened if you leave the company and you go somewhere else? Do I still have a good partnership? Because I know Eran will take care of me. Eran will maybe give me discounts, find me the people I need, will escalate to people, and will find a way. When you leave, I'm not sure the person that comes next will do it. Because at the end of the day, yes, we have a written agreement, but the partnership is what happened behind the agreement, with the small things, when we need to fix the problems, when we need to do something that's not there. Ideally, we have a good agreement that we were able to push it and make sure it's working,
Right.
but it's not always the case. And as we spoke in the beginning, what happened when the agreement ends, or I need to pay next year, for example. Also, it's quite a big problem for big companies. What if I'm in Canada and Iran is responsible on Canada? Talking about bigger companies. And I have a deal in US. And now I need to go to John. John is responsible in the US. And here's the funny part. When I was with Harjova Group, we were the diamond partner or the premier partner for Palo Alto. I don't remember the term right now. Because we were big. When we went to US, like, who are you? Excuse me? Like, we were nobody in US on the partnership level. But Palo Alto is huge.
It is.
So was almost like a different partnership level. Not almost, it was a different partnership level between US and Canada, even though it's North America. Not even talk about Europe. So whatever our agreement was in Canada, we assume we'll have it in US. No, there was different support, different discounts, different people, different obligations. There was no personal relationship. So in the beginning, when we went to US, it was very hard because I got so used to work with the people in Canada. And it's happened with other companies as well. It was with McAfee, with Checkpoint, or SentinelOne, like many, many other companies. But it's not just the people, it's also the responsibility of these people. Is he only responsible on one country or more? So as a VAR, MSSP, you want to think about this as well. When you're creating partnership, It is only in one country, and what had happened with this is a different country. And when you escalate for problems, or if you have a customer that is cross-region, what do you do? In many cases, it's where the headquarters, but sometimes headquarters is small, but the problems are in a different country. So this is all something you want to think about it in advance, and it's hard to think in advance.
It's interesting because if we go back to smaller companies, startups, they're just starting their kind of a journey into international markets. I'm talking about our audience here in Israel. So in most cases, at the beginning, there's not people on the ground at the target market. Can that still be managed from afar? Or it's crucial to put somebody on the ground that'll be closer to your partners, closer to the market?
I think in the past, it was definitely mandatory. With COVID, unfortunately for the COVID part, we kind of more relaxed right now to have remote meetings. Like even the podcast, in like 5-6 years ago, majority of the podcasts were face-to-face. Right now, majority of us are recording stuff over Zoom or other systems. Right. So people are more relaxed to have somebody remote. But having said this, you want somebody that's going to answer your phone. So we spoke about partnership, for example, and something I forgot to say. If you want to partner from Israel with somebody in North America, but you support in Israeli time, it's a problem. So fine, partner with them, but provide them the support in their local time. So same here. If you want to partner with someone and you want to have the partner person not in the same country, was it going to be actually available in the same time zone as where you're working? Because then it become mandatory. I want to talk to you at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. my time, or I want to talk to you 4 p.m. my time, but it's going to be night in Israel. You're going to talk to me. So at least this part. Definitely, I hope we're still going to be human beings for a very long time, and we all enjoy the face-to-face. Because even right now, you and me are talking, but I have a screen here, a screen there, there are some notifications coming. In a meeting, people will talk to you and they will like look on something else. NVIDIA just came out with this technology. When you look somewhere else, it will still show us how you look here.
Steer straight to the screen, to the camera. Yeah, I saw that.
But face to face, when we eat a lunch, when we're just meeting in the boardroom without a computer, it's not really do this. I have to 100% talk to you. I may have a notebook, I may write notes, but your attention and attention span is to you. So I really personally hope we're not going to go away from physical meetings. This is why we're all eager right now go back to the physical conferences to network with people and to meet new people as well.
I want to switch gears. I have a few more questions, which I would like you to kind of share your insight. And it's more, again, from the partner perspective. In this unstable economy situation where we are, what goes through the mind of those partners out there?
By partners, you mean MSPs and VARs?
MSPs and VARs, exactly.
It means that if this is unstable right now, the customer will probably have less budget. They will try to consolidate, and they will be less risky for this new sexy technology, and they want to understand exactly what they're going to buy. It means I cannot call the customer and say, Mr. Customer, I just found the best things after sliced bread, and you have to look on this. I need to be much more strategic on how I'm doing this. And it's depending on the VAR, how is it doing this. So it means the VAR and the MSSPs need to understand really well what is the pain point of a customer, how they can solve it, and if there's a consolidation part there as well. For the last couple of years in the Horjovi group, we did quite a lot of consulting work, like a workshop, to understand what the customer have, and if there's a better way to utilize the technologies they already have, and potentially maybe overlapping technologies that can be removed. And this is important. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to buy anything, because you can say, guys, you can remove here, here, and here, and use this money here, and here, and here. So it's still great. But you need to understand what they're actually going to buy, what is mandatory. Robert Horjovi had this very, very cool expression that I still use, and a lot of people that used to be in Horjavik still use: kitchen renovation and leaky roof. You always want to do kitchen renovation, but you're going to fix the leaky roof right away. Right. So as a VAR, as an MSSP, as a salesperson there, your work is to understand what are you going to do now and what are you going to do in the future. You may still want to do the one in the future, but at least you know what they're going to do now. So when you partner with the vendor, you want to understand how important it is right now.
So I think it's a very important point, because, and I think you're right, a lot of customers are kind of rethinking about their cyber strategy and technology. It doesn't mean that they will stop getting in new technology or buying necessary platforms that they must have in order to support their business functions and technology function. But they need to understand that if the market is changing a bit and there's a partner in between, right, everything needs to be as transparent as possible. They need to understand that there might be a consolidation. They might have to be more patient in terms of the longevity of closing those deals, right? And what they can do to elevate that pain both for the partner and the customer, so the acquisition of new platform technology will be more seamless, easiest for them to absorb. And this is actually reflecting and putting some light on the VARs and MSSPs that eventually will work for you and provide you with the resources, the support you need out in the field. So talking about those things, what can vendors do, okay, to elevate or to reduce that friction or to assist you in those tough times?
First of all, stop using cryptic language. Like, stop putting your slogans. We're the best, we're the first, we're the pioneer, we're the first cybersecurity company. People don't understand this. It's annoying because it's slogans and that doesn't mean anything. So go on a basic part to explain exactly what you do, where you do this. If you want to use a slogan somewhere else, use it. But when you send a brochure, you're not trying to impress anyone. We saw this in the before there's 4,000 vendors. Try to explain in a simple language for technical and the salespeople, what do you do, where you fit, and where you don't fit as well. Please don't tell me you will do everything, because you're not. Just basically help the people to understand how to sell it, where to sell it. And also, did you ever saw a brochure when it says not good for XYZ? No, they don't do this. People always say sell it everywhere. But why not to say we are not a good fit for SMB, or our target audience is SMB, we are not good fit somewhere there. So give these points where to sell you, where not to sell you. I think this is the beginning part from the vendors. They need to simplify their messaging. They need to help other people to understand what they do without going and asking other people.
Very good.
Second,
well, Evgeniy, we almost on the end of the podcast here. The time is ticking. It was an amazing conversation. I would like to thank you for being part of it and for sharing your insight. It was, I think it was, for me, just to take a look from your perspective as a partner, as a VAR, as an MSSP, and what it takes in order to build a great partnership is mind-blowing, and it's super important for others to tap into that and make the changes and recommendation needed in order to make that partnership succeed, even in today's dynamic world. So again, much appreciated. It was fantastic. Hopefully we'll meet again in person next time. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here. I think you're doing something very, very nice, and I hope we're going to help a lot of people. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Evgeniy. Have a good one.